Well, 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 good evening, my little honey bunches of nopes. Lovely to make all of your acquaintances once more this evening. How are we? Who's here with me? Moonshade, hello! Ah, hello. Hello, Jay. Wonderful to see you, darling. It has been longer than too many moons. Well, 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 well. What a spectacular, gloriously terrifying evening we have in store for all of you tonight. Lovely to see you all. How are we? What has been going on? Can you hear me well? Can you see me? I know that I am quite candlelit this evening. Delightful. Trying out a few different new things tonight, so I must have all of your feedback as we go along. And I shall do my best to honor all the requests. Now, what on earth is going on with TikTok? Grimcat's here, Jason Harper. Yes and yes. Good, good, good. Lovely to hear it, darling. Well, who's ready to start this glorious story tonight? What on earth are we doing here? Who am I? Who are all of you? And what is the purpose of tonight's stream? Well, every other day of the week, I am Siren. However, on Thursday evenings, I moonlight in the moonlight as the fair Lady Scarlett Nightshade, librarian of the West Wing Library of the Siren Grotto. And recently, we've been visiting inside the West Wing Laboratory, conducting all kinds of terrifying experiments. I must say, it is quite a delight every time I see all of you on these Thursday evenings with us, visiting here in the grotto. The library is quite the busiest part, aside from the throne room, where the Siren Captain's always holding court, though we don't talk much about her, for obvious reasons. Well, you're here, you're having some technical difficulties. Oh no, is that something that's going on your end? Is that something that I can try and remedy here? Can everyone hear the lovely ambiance that we've built? Can you hear the lovely little piano music? So melancholy, delightfully melancholy. Crazy traveler eagerly awaiting an intriguing tale. Well, we certainly do have intriguing tales tonight. On Thursday evenings, we open every single visit to the library with a choose-your-own-adventure story straight out of my grimoire, where you, dear Nightfall Society, that's all of you who join the chats on Thursday evenings, regardless of platform, get to choose every twist and turn of the tale. So you direct just how intriguing, just how terrifying, just how exciting, perhaps a little romantic the tale may be. Amber, hello, darling. Thank you so very much for joining. Sage the Whole House, hello. I do love that username. Well, shall we get into it? Oh, it's all good now. Good, lovely. You're trying to hook it into the TV. Oh, splendid. Well, I don't know very much about these newfangled 21st century contraptions. I tend to stick with what I know, so unfortunately, I'm a little better with the typewriter and the quill than I am at the television. Right then. Wonderful darlings, let's begin, shall we? Let us open up the grimoire for another delightful tale of terror, intrigue, and perhaps mutual benefit. Tonight's tale is one that I've concocted for you especially, curated based upon your feedback, especially those of you who are in the Siren Grotto Patreon, who have given their feedback time and time again regarding the direction of our live streams and all of the goings-on in the Siren Grotto. So, without further ado, submitted for the approval of the Nightfall Society, I humbly present The Ones Who Return When the Snow Falls. Welcome, and tonight's tale shall take us far from any road you know, any paved path. Lady Ravana, hello, darling. Lovely to see you just in time for the start of the story. The Ones Who Return When the Snow Falls. So, here's how it begins. The first snowfall came early this year. Thick and wet, it blanketed the village of Hallowmere in silence. Too sudden, too complete, as though the season had been summoned rather than arrived. You are one of a small group of travelers drawn to the isolated village by different purposes. Some seek sanctuary, some seek truth, but the innkeeper only offers one piece of advice before retiring to bed. Do not enter the woods after dark, and if you hear bells, run. Outside, the air hangs still, candles gutter in their holders. And somewhere, just beyond the timberline, a bell does ring. You rise from your narrow bed in the inn's upper floor. The others are already awake, faces pale, drawn to the sound like moths to an invisible flame. The snowfall is growing heavier, and something is watching from beyond the tree line. So, here is your opportunity to make your first vote. The first choice, a red emoji in the chat. Second choice, green emojis in the chat. Absolutely flood your chat with your choice. The bell tolls. Red emojis, investigate the bell. It may be a warning or a signal. Green emojis, wake the innkeeper. Someone must know what's going on. So, which shall we choose? Let me know. And we'll spin the next part of the tale. Oh, I'm already seeing votes for green. Already seeing them. Even more. I want to see all of them. Ah, I do see another red vote. So far, the greens have it. Who else? Let's see all of them. Fill up the chat with as many emojis as you can in your choice color. Red choice, we investigate the bell sound. It might be a warning or a signal. Green emojis, wake the innkeeper, because someone round here has to know what's going on. So, I'm still seeing greens in the lead. Still. Oh, darlings. Right then, let's go right on with the green then. Second choice, the greens have it. Ah, Moonshade, all right. I'm sorry, darling, I saw the... Ah, all right. Jaybird brought it back to the green side. Well then, you move quickly through the dim corridor into the inn. Feel silent on the wooden floorboard softened by age. The others, the rest of the Nightfall Society, exchange glances in the candlelight, their breath visible in the frigid air. You knock on the innkeeper's door. No answer. You knock again, louder this time. Still nothing. Finally, one of you pushes the door open. It groans on its hinges. The room is empty. The bed is untouched, sheets still perfectly folded. A steaming cup of tea sits on the nightstand, as though abandoned only moments ago. And in the center of the room, scrawled hastily on the wall in the black ash, are the words, "They remember what was taken." There's a sign of struggle. No sign of struggle. No blood. Much to my chagrin. Just that ominous phrase and a faint metallic scent in the air. Iron. Pine. Someone opens the window. Snow blows in across the floor, and in the distance, the bell rings again. Closer this time. You glance down. Notice something odd. Footprints in the snow outside, leading away from the inn. Barefoot. Human. Deep. And headed straight for the wood. So, the trail has begun. Do you follow the footprints, or do you fortify where you are? Red emojis, we follow the footprints into the forest. The truth won't come to you. Or green emojis, barricade the inn, search for the tools, and prepare for whatever is coming. Make your choice, chat. Choose wisely. Oh, my goodness, I'm already seeing greens. Susie, thank you so very much for joining. Lovely to make your acquaintance this evening. If you are joining me for the very first time, hello. My name every other day of the week is Siren. However, on Thursday evenings, I moonlight in the moonlight as the Lady Scarlett Nightshade, regaling you with tales where you choose every twist and turn, every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, you have? Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, there are so many visitors to the West Wing Library. I'm so very sorry if I've forgotten. Tabby Skeleton, hello. Welcome. Oh my goodness, I see lots and lots of green choices, lots and lots of red choices. It looks like this time the Reds have it. Well, Let us venture on then, shall we? On what is everyone sipping this evening? I must know, simply must know. Tonight, in my cauldron, I have a lovely selection from our bloodthirsty tea line. Vampire's Velvet, delightfully evocative of a blueberry pie. Red rooibos tea, of course. Water. How quaint. Darling. Well then. H2O. Phantom's Breath. Glorious, glorious. How do you find the Phantom's Breath? Nothing, actually. Just sitting in the dark and enjoying. Well, dear darling. It's all right. It's damp enough in the Siren Grotto caves to keep any human hydrated. You are enjoying it. Wonderful. Good. Water, but tea does sound good. Yes. Do you know, I almost prepared myself an entire pot of Transylvanian fog featuring Earl Graveyard and lavender syrup. However, my teapot is a little too transparent for the stream, and I have nowhere to put it in front of me, so might as well just fill a mug and call it a night, yes? Well then, you've made your choice. We follow the footprints into the forest. The truth does not come on its own, yes? The truth will not find itself. So, we've chosen to discover together. You step out into the snow, the cold biting instantly through coat and glove. The footprints are fresh, no more than minutes old, but already the wind is working to erase them. The forest ahead looms black and skeletal, each tree a jagged silhouette against the rising white. Behind you, the glow of the inn fades. Ahead, the bell chimes again. Once, twice, then a third time, cut off mid-ring, as if someone snatched it out of thin air. We press forward, Nightfall Society, the crunch of your footsteps muffled by the deepening snow. The footprints weave through the trees, growing erratic. Panicked, the stride lengthens, then nothing. The tracks end abruptly beside a split tree. No drag marks, no blood, just absence. Something is written in the bark of the tree. He took her name. She took his face. Suddenly, the wind stops. So do the trees. Not a sound. Not a flake of snow falling. The forest has become still, unnaturally so. And then, from behind you, a child's voice whispers, "You're not supposed to be here yet." You turn. No one's there. Nightfall Society, what shall we do? The silence has teeth. Do you confront the voice, or do we keep moving on? Red emojis, speak aloud, demand to know who's watching. Or green emojis, ignore the voice, continue on deeper. There's more to uncover. Quickly now, quickly, make your choice. Absolutely flood the chat. with your red or green emoji of choice. You'll be on later. Wonderful, wonderful, Jay Bringstar. Glorious. Well then. I'm seeing a red choice so far, waiting for more choices to flood through. So far, the Reds have it. So again, the choices are red emojis, we speak aloud and demand to know who's watching us, or green emojis, we ignore the voice and continue on deeper, because there is more to uncover in the wood. What shall we do? I'm seeing more red emojis. More reds. Oh my goodness, the reds are absolutely flooding the chat now. Thank you so very much for casting your vote. Or are we going to barely survive this round? Who knows if we should be thanking you yet? We confront. Yes, we do. You're quite the intrepid group this evening, I must say. Mark Kennedy, 1553, thank you so very much for coming in. Cyberbiz Pro, hello. Wonderful to see you tonight. Darlings, this is a glorious evening so far. Thank you so very much for joining me. I do appreciate all of you for being here tonight. Always a confrontation. Never a dull moment in the grotto, I must say. Well, let's continue on with the tale, then. Who's there? You call into the void, your breath steaming before you like smoke from a ritual fire. The sound of your own voice is swallowed up by the trees. No echo, no response. At first. Then, slowly, the air begins to move again. The trees groan like old bones shifting. From behind the split tree, something emerges. A child. Or something, wearing the shape of one. Its eyes are pitch black, glinting like obsidian. Have we encountered a black-eyed child? Its clothes are outdated. Lace collar, wore wool coat. Shoes thin, soaked through with blooded snow. Sounds very much like something my father would have worn in his childhood in the 1600s. But its mouth does not move when it speaks again. You spoke the old way. That means you remember, even if you pretend not to. It lifts its hand, palm out. The center is branded with the same mark carved into the inn wall. The same phrase etched in the flesh. They remember what was taken. One of you has it. The thing hisses, voice warping. One of you carries the buried, and if you go farther, it tilts its head. You'll meet the one who wants it back. Without warning, the figure drops to its knees, begins digging. Clawed hands tear into the snow, into the dirt, into something soft, wet beneath. A face. Your face. Mouth sewn shut, eyes wide open. The child thing laughs. Oh, Nightfall Society, the truth is rising. Do we run or dig deeper? Red emojis, we confront the child thing. Demand to know what this means. Or green, flee. Follow a different path because there is still time. Maybe. So, chat to make your choice. Red emojis, we confront the thing. Green emojis, we run for the hills. Though I do have a feeling I already know what your answer shall be. Cast your votes in the chat now. Absolutely flood that chat. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing all kinds of greens. Oh my goodness. Pardon me, I keep saying greens. I mean reds. Reds, reds, reds. Scarlett. Oh, we don't run, right? I'm half waiting for someone to chime in with Goonies never say die, though. Who knows? Who knows if that exists in this environment? You've all found me in quite the supernatural environment, I must say, and I am delighted to present it to you tonight. What do you think? It looks like the Reds have it. My goodness. Talk about efficiency, enterprise, and ingenuity. Heavens. Care Bear, hello. Welcome in. We need answers, Moonshade says. Yes, indeed, we do need answers. If I miss your commentary, I do apologize. I must look at multiple screens in order to see what on earth is going on with all of you over on TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitch. All at the same time. It's quite a feat of daring do, I must say. I am quite proud of myself. Being such an archaic creature. Speaking of creatures, I think our answer is clear. You step toward the creature, no longer mistaking it for a child. Whatever wears that form twists at your nearness, its smile stretching wider than human skin should allow. The first frost around its feet spreads like ink in water, and the air warps with each breath it takes, as though the world is holding itself back from collapsing entirely. You keep saying someone took something, you say, steady, despite the bite rising in your throat. What was it? What do you want? The laughter dies abruptly. It stares at you for a long, awful moment, as if weighing your soul in its hands. Names, it finally whispers. Names have weight. Names bind. Your kind used to know that. The creature drags its claws across the bark of the near tree, and your own name bleeds out from the grain. You think you chose to come here? No, he called you. He buried his name in you, the one you carry without knowing. You feel it then, like a whisper crawling up your spine. Something inside you shifts. An awareness unfurls in your mind. A name, half-formed, ancient, and heavy. Not yours. Buried within you. The creature rises slowly, tilting its head the other way. He wakes now. The woods are not hollow, they're hungry. And you! It steps closer, breath as cold as the grave. You are the sacrifice that remembers too much. Well, Nightfall Society. It looks like it's time to make our final choice of tonight's tale. It's up to you. The truth has finally found you. Do you carry this name forward, or do you cast it out and flee? Red, accept the name, become the vessel, let forgotten power rise. Or green emojis, reject the name, break the tether, and run before the woods close in. Nightfall Society, red emojis or green emojis, which shall it be? Make your choice in the chat forthwith. You let me suck your blood. Well, good, lovely, because I've not dined in weeks. What's your type? B positive? O negative? Because I do love a good buffet. Green emojis I'm seeing so far. Wonderful. All those green emojis. O negative, Amber says. O negative. Well, good. Darlings, we need more votes than this. Green emojis, yes, I'm seeing the green emojis come through. All right then, well, it looks like we're rejecting the name that the thing has for us. Wonderful. Wonderful. I shall return presently. I must adjust something. I shall be right back. Right then, thank you so very much for bearing with me all. Much appreciated. Darlings. You feel it clawing up your throat. That name, slick with blood and memory, begging to be spoken. But you don't. You bite it back like poison. You reject it. Whatever was buried inside you was not meant to rise. No, you whisper, voice cracking through the frost. You don't get to use me, not again. Ha ha! The mark carved into the tree bursts into flames. Not fire, but something colder. Something that devours instead of burns. The creature lets out a shriek, more static than sound, and its form begins to unravel you, trying to take you with it. But your refusal, your choice, was the key. You sever the tether. The forest screams, not with rage, with hunger. The snow turns black at the edges, trees twist inward. The path back to the village is closing. Run! The Nightfall Society bolts through the shifting pines, the forest folding in behind you like a mouth snapping shut. The bells ring one last time. Wild, frantic, out of rhythm, out of step. And then they stop. You don't stop until you see the glow of the village's last standing lantern. The inn is dark. The footprints are gone. But you made it. You chose. And the wood remembered. You didn't carry the curse, but now it knows your name, and names never truly are lost, are they? The end. Wonderful, darlings, glorious. Round of applause to you, huzzah. Oh, that was delightful. I did enjoy reading that one for you. Wonderful choices this time round. Crazy Bish, well, hello, my dear heart. Wonderful to see you, darling. A gloriously gloomy Thursday to you. You loved it, Susie? Oh, good, I loved it too. I certainly hope you loved it. You helped write it. With all of your votes in the chat. Now, Shall we play another round, or shall we go on to something a little more saucy? Perhaps a short story, perhaps some poetry, something that's itching to jump off the pages. Great story. Yes, it was a great story, and you only have yourselves to thank. All of you wrote it right here in the chat. Wonderful, wonderful choices, I must say. It was just such a pleasure to read this for you tonight. This one, I must say, has been one of our better ones. What on earth are we going to do to get more people to come in and vote on the next story, though? Any ideas? What shall we do? Shall we share the stream? Shall we flood our chats with emojis again? Just red and green emojis? A short story sounds good. What do you mean, though, darling? You've shared twice. Thank you, Susie. Thank you. Thank you for liking, sharing, doing all of those lovely, lovely little chatting things that you're doing. And if you have gifted, thank you so very much. Unfortunately, I cannot see when you gift. But I can see that it's happening, and I do appreciate you. A short story. 2 votes for a short story. Well then. I think we need to flip the page in the grimoire then, and regale you with a tale. Shall it be an original? Shall it be something written by our lovely author, the author of my biography, Bloodline, or shall it be one of the classics? You choose. What would you like to hear? Lady Death, hello. Lovely to see you tonight. Oh, my goodness, what a pleasure to see all of you this evening. Mackenzie, hello, dear. Well, then. Seeing as how I have no more votes for anything, and several of you have mentioned a short story, then that is what I shall do. My autobiography, yes, it is. It's all about the House of Nightshade. All about the family legacy, about maybe a little bit of something that foreshadows what's going to happen with the family business. I'm just going to have to read it, darling, and find out. Or I could read from it right now. Siren's going to be at a book signing event Friday, May the 2nd. 2:30 p.m. inside the Caffeine Cauldron inside Tucson Mall. Reading some dramatic passages, signing books for you, doing a little bit of question and answer period, simply just meeting and greeting all of you. You were talking with Matt about Lady Nightshade. Ah, glorious, wonderful. Well, I do hope that he does come to visit me soon. Here in the West Wing, he does not know what he's missing, does he? Link in the bio, follow all the things. Yes, please do, lovelies. All right then, well, I think we shall go for another. Let us read. Let's turn to tonight's tale. Before we step into the narrative, my little dust bunnies of doom, let's take a moment to appreciate the mind behind this unsettling work. Susan Hill. Born in 1942, master of quiet terror. She draws not from distant nightmares, but from the familiar. Old houses, forgotten letters. The weight of grief. Her words don't leap out at you. They slither. They settle. They fester. She makes the silence itself unsettling, as though something's waiting within it, perhaps. Since its publication in 1983, Susan Hill's Woman in Black has haunted audiences far and wide. It's been adapted into multiple forms, from stage productions to film, including the 2012 adaptation that sent shivers in movie theaters worldwide. Hill shows us that true horror isn't in spectacle, but in the notion that some things from the past never truly rest. Reading her work feels like stepping onto a misty moor. You tread carefully, knowing full well something awaits just out of sight. So, tonight, we tread forward. Light your candles, pour your drinks, prepare your nerves. For some spectres refuse to stay in the shadow. Submitted for the approval of the Nightfall Society, I humbly present The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, 1983, retold by Margaret Tarner for Macmillan readers. Chapter 1. Christmas Eve. My name is Arthur Kipps. When I was a young man, I worked in London. I was a solicitor. I worked for the same company all my life. 14 years ago, I bought this house called Monk's Peace. I live here with my dear wife, Esme. Dust bunnies of doom. Yes. Well, my obsequious little sugar cube. Use anything that you wish. Beautiful vampy booer, hello, mysterious fantasy. Ooh, so spooky. Esme's first husband had died. She was a widow when I married her. I became the father of her 4 young children. Our years at Monk's Peace have been happy ones. It was Christmas Eve. All the family was at Monk's Peace for the holiday. We were all sitting by the big fire at the end of the day. I was in my armchair, listening to the laughter and the talking. "Wake up, Father," someone called. "We're going to tell ghost stories." The lights were turned off. Suddenly, the room was dark and shadowy. I smiled as I listened to the young people's stories. The stories full of terror. They did not frighten me. They weren't true. Then I remembered. I remembered terrible things. These memories were terrible because those were true. "Tell us a ghost story, Father," someone cried. "You must know one story." I stood up, cold, shaking. "No, no," I shouted. "I have no story to tell." I hurried from the room, away from them all. I went out into the garden. I stood there in the cold, in the darkness. My heart was beating fast. I was shaking with fear. Will I never forget? Will I never find peace? How can I find peace? There is only one way. I must write down my terrible story. All the horror, everything. Then Then I will find peace. I turned, walked back into the house. Chapter 2. London Fog. Love you, my dear Lady Scarlett. Oh, darling, I do love you as well. Oh, all my honey bunches of nopes in the chat. Oh, I do love all of you, my greedy little possums. Chapter 2. London Fog. My story begins in November, many years ago. I was a young man of 23. I worked for a solicitor called Mr. Bentley. Sometimes the work was uninteresting, but I worked hard. I wanted to do well. That November morning, the weather was cold. A thick yellow fog covered London. The fog filled people's ears and eyes. It got into houses, shops, offices. Mr. Bentley called me into his office. "Sit down, Arthur, sit down," Mr. Bentley said. He pointed to a paper on his desk. This is the will of a Mrs. Drablow. Mrs. Alice Drablow of Eel Marsh House in Yorkshire. A strange old lady, strange house. Have you ever been to Yorkshire, Arthur? No, sir. Well, my boy, go home, pack your bags. Mrs. Drablow is dead. She has no relatives in England, and we are her solicitors. I want you to attend the funeral. Mr. Bentley saw that I was surprised. "I can't go by myself," Mr. Bentley said quickly. "I'm too busy." "After the funeral," he went on, "I want you to go to Eel Marsh House. I want you to look at the old lady's papers. Bring back anything important." Mr. Bentley stood up. "Funeral's at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning," he said. "Take the afternoon train from the King's Cross station. Here is the key to Eel Marsh House. Mrs. Drablow's will and other important papers are in this envelope." He held out a large brown envelope. Written on the front of the envelope was, "Mrs. Alice Drablow, Eel Marsh House, 9 Lives Causeway, Crithen, Gifford, Yorkshire." "What a strange address," I said. "Yes, a strange address. Strange place," Mr. Bentley said. "Now, off you go, my boy." There wasn't much time to get ready for the journey. I quickly packed my bag. Then I wrote a note to Stella, my fiancée. Then I set off for King's Cross station. The fog was thicker now. The smell of fog was everywhere. At last I reached the big, noisy station. I was beginning to feel excited. I was going on a journey. I had an important job to do. "Ah, welcome back, dear. Thank you so very much for coming in. Thank you. Do appreciate you. My goodness. Don't forget to be liking and sharing and doing all of the lovely little things. Tap that screen over and over again. Let everyone know in every community that you're in that we're here tonight. Encourage them to visit me in the West Wing Library of the Siren Grotto. If you are just joining us, hello, darlings. Very lovely to make your acquaintance this evening. My name is the Lady Scarlett Nightshade, at least on every Thursday evenings. Every other day of the week, my name is Siren. We started out tonight in our visit to the West Wing Library with a choose-your-own-adventure story. Every single person in the chat voted on every twist and turn, and now we've moved on to a slightly dramatic reading of a short story, The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. As I soon... let's try that one again, shall we? I was soon sitting in the train, and it was moving. Slowly at first, then faster. The fog of London was left behind. Darkness fell. I was headed north to Eel Marsh House. I changed trains at Crewe. Then I changed trains again in a small town called Hornaby, in Yorkshire. The air was cold. The wind blew rain on my face. The little train I got into at Hornaby was old and dirty. I put the brown envelope in the seat beside me. I opened my newspaper, began to read. A few minutes later, a big man with a red face got into the carriage. He sat down as the train began to move out of Hornaby. Baby Mooney says hello. Well, hello, Baby Mooney. Hello, darling. It's cold in here, I said, but I've left the fog of London behind me. Don't have fogs here. We have mists. The mists come in from the sea, the big man said. We sat for a few moments in silence. Then I saw the big man look at the envelope on the seat beside me. Drablow, he said. Your relative? No, I'm the solicitor, I said. I'm going to the funeral. You'll be the only one there, Mr. Name's Kipps, Arthur Kipps, I told him. I'm Samuel Daly, the big man said. Didn't Mrs. Drablow have any friends? I asked. No, she didn't have any friends, Mr. Daly said. People become strange when they live in strange places. I smiled. Are you trying to frighten me, Mr. Daly? I asked. He just stared at me. No, I'm not trying to frighten you, he said, but there are other people in Crith and Gifford who will try to frighten you. I suddenly felt very cold. Where are you staying tonight? Mr. Daly asked. I'm going to stay at the Gifford Arms. Gifford Arms is a comfortable inn, said Mr. Daly. I go past it on my way home. You can come with me in my car. Mr. Daly's car was waiting at the station. A few minutes later, it stopped outside the inn. Mr. Daly gave me his card with his address on it. That's where I live, he said. If you need any help, come see me. The Gifford Arms was warm and comfortable. After a good supper, I went to bed. I slept well, thank God I did. I never slept so well again. Chapter 3. The Funeral of Mrs. Drablow. The next morning was bright and sunny. I had a good breakfast. Then I walked round the little town of Crith and Gifford. Sabesi, hello. Thank you so very much for joining me this evening. Then I walked around the little town of Crith and Gifford. It was market day. The little town was busy. Farmers were buying and selling animals in the market square. The streets of Crith and Gifford were completely flat. The countryside all around the town was flat too. There were no hills at all. To the east of the town were the marshes, and on the marshes was Eel Marsh House. I walked back to the inn, got ready for the funeral. I put on a dark suit, went downstairs again. Mr. Jerome was waiting for me downstairs. Mr. Jerome was Mrs. Drablow's agent. He looked after her house and land. Mr. Jerome was a small man, dressed in black. He smiled politely. We left the inn. As we walked through the square, people stared at us. They stopped talking. No one smiled. The church stood in an old graveyard. There were old gravestones on either side of the long path. It was very cold inside the church. Mr. Jerome and I were the only people at the funeral. Poor Mrs. Drablow, I thought. Didn't she have any friends at all? Then I heard a sound behind me. I turned. A young woman was standing at the back of the church. She was dressed in old-fashioned black clothes from 60 years ago. A large, old-fashioned bonnet covered her face. She raised her head and looked at me. The young woman's face was white and very thin. How ill she looked. When we left the church, I looked for the woman, but I did not see her. Then, in the graveyard, I saw her again. In the sunshine, her face, whiter, thinner. I closed my eyes to pray. When I opened them, the woman had gone. Beyond the graveyard, I saw the estuary, and beyond the estuary was the open sea. The funeral was over. I followed Mr. Jerome from the churchyard. "Who was that young woman?" I asked him. Mr. Jerome stopped, looked at me. "Young woman?" he asked. "Yes, a young woman. She was dressed in black, looked very ill." Mr. Jerome's face went white. "I didn't see a young woman," he said. I looked behind me. The young woman was standing beside Mrs. Drablow's grave. "Look, there she is," I said. Mr. Jerome made a strange sound. He didn't turn round to look at the woman. He held my arm tightly. He began to shake. "Mr. Jerome," I cried. "Are you ill? Let go of my arm. I'll bring a car round for you." No, he cried. "No, sir, stay with me." After a few moments, Mr. Jerome spoke again. "I'm very sorry, sir," he said quietly. "I fell ill for a moment. I think I can go on now." We walked slowly back to the Gifford Arms. "Are you taking me to Eel Marsh House, Mr. Jerome?" I said politely. The little man shook his head. "No, not me," he said. "Keckwick will take you. You have to go across the causeway to get to Eel Marsh House. When the tide is in, the sea covers the causeway. You can't get across. You can only cross the causeway when the tide is out, and that will be after 1 o'clock or so." "There may be a lot of papers to look at," I said. "I may stay at Eel Marsh House tonight." "You'll find the inn more comfortable," Mr. Jerome said quietly. "Well, perhaps you're right," I said. The lunch at the Gifford Arms was a good one. I ate well. At 1:30, I was waiting outside the inn. The key to Eel Marsh House was in my pocket. I listened for the sound of Keckwick's car. "Thank you so very much for sharing the live, everyone. My goodness. People without allergies. Oh, darling, I do hope everyone's well tonight. I must say, that is one of the advantages of being half immortal. Good health, except for when I have not fed and it has been more than a fortnight. One can only live so long on bloodthirsty." Chapter 4. Eel Marsh House. After a few minutes, a pony and trap came into the square. Stopped beside me. "Mr. Kipps," the driver said. "Are you Keckwick?" I asked. I was surprised that Keckwick didn't come in a car. The man nodded his head. I got into the trap. The pony started off at once. You're off in two places at once. Darling, it's hilarious. Thank you so very much for being there. We drove quickly through the quiet little town. We passed the churchyard and were soon in the open country. The country round the town was completely flat. There was beautiful grey sky above us. After a time, we reached the marsh. The marshes were strange, beautiful. No trees grew in the marshes. There was water everywhere. There were no people, no houses. Just silence. The only sound was the noise made by the hooves of the pony and the wheels of the trap. We drove along the path till we came to the causeway. The long causeway went round the estuary. The sandy causeway was not much higher than the water on each side. Not bad. This is 9 Lives Causeway, I thought. At high tide, the water will completely cover it. The bright winter sun shone in my eyes. I shut them for a moment. When I opened my eyes, we were near the end of the causeway. In front of us was the tall, grey house. It stood alone, looking over the marshes and the water in the estuary. The lonely house was on a little island. This was Eel Marsh House. Hello, Miss Christina. The trap stopped in front of the house. For a few moments, it did not move. What a strange, lonely place. But the place was so beautiful, I wasn't afraid. I got out of the trap. When will the water cover the causeway again? 2 hours, Keswick answered. I didn't want to leave so soon. I wanted more time in this beautiful place. 2 hours won't be enough time for me to do my work here, I said. I'll come back here again tomorrow. I'll bring food, drink with me, stay a day or 2. But now that I'm here, I'll have a look round the house, yeah? What are you going to do? Will you wait here or come back for me later? Keswick did not answer. He turned the pony and trap round and drove off. I watched the trap going back across the causeway. I was alone. I stood there without moving. The key to the house was in my hand. A seabird flew by, gave cry. Then there was silence again. What a place to live, I thought. Perhaps one day Stella and I will be here. I wanted her. I wanted to be with her in this beautiful place. There was a field behind the house. It went from the house to the water. The setting sun made the water red. The wind from the sea was getting colder. At the end of the field, I saw a little church. It looked very old. It had no roof, and its walls were broken. Some old gravestones stood round the old building. 'Twas beginning to grow dark. It was time to go inside the house. Then I saw the young woman again. She was standing beside one of the headstones. It was the woman in black. She was wearing the same old-fashioned clothes. She looked pale, ill. Her eyes were dark. Such a pale face. Those eyes. How can I describe them? Her eyes. They were evil. They stared at me with a terrible hate. There was something that woman wanted from me. Something she'd lost. But what was it? I began to shake with fear. I felt very cold. The heart beat faster and faster. I wanted to run. But I was not able to move. What was wrong with me? The woman stepped behind the gravestone. She'd gone. My fear left me. I ran down into the graveyard. I looked for the young woman everywhere, but she had disappeared. There were the marshes. And then there was the shining causeway. Jay Brigster, good night. Oh, good night, dear. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I do appreciate you so. I shall tell Siren that you stopped by. I do keep a ledger of all the visitors to the West Wing Library, and I do let her know what on earth is going on every single time. So, very, very much appreciated for coming in and signing the guest book in the West Wing Library tonight. Pleasant nightmares to you, darling. Very enjoyable. Ha ha! Wonderful. Glad to hear it, darling. Right then, let's continue on with the chapter, shall we? The woman stepped behind the gravestone. She had gone. My fear left me. I ran down into the graveyard. I looked for the young woman everywhere, but she had disappeared. There were the marshes, and there was the shining causeway. I was able to see for miles, but there were no houses. There was no place to hide. I didn't understand it. Suddenly, my fear returned. I ran back into the house. I didn't look back. I was too frightened to look back. I reached the house, tried to open the door. My hand was shaking. At last, the key made it into the lock. I opened the door, stepped inside. The door shut with a bang. The sound went through the empty house. What had happened to me? Who was the woman in black? I didn't believe in ghosts, but I think I'd seen one. Ghost. It was evil, terrible. But I was inside the house now. I was safe. I smiled. I don't believe in ghosts. I have work to do. And I wanted to do it well. I must forget the woman in black. I looked round. I was standing in the dark hallway. The front of me was a wide staircase. On one side was a passage. Perhaps led to the kitchen, maybe? There were several doors, all of them closed. 'Twas getting darker. I switched on a light in the hall. I went to the nearest door and opened it. I opened one door after another. One door was locked. There was old furniture in every room. It was all large and heavy. There were old pictures on all the walls. Every room had desks and cupboards, and my job was to look through every single one of them. There was a damp smell in the house. Some of the rooms had not been used for many a year. The whole house was dark, shadowy. Mrs. Drablow had lived there alone, I thought. I wasn't surprised when people said she was strange. I pulled up the blinds to every window. From each window, I was able to see the marshes and the estuary. It was a beautiful place, but still silent, lonely. I used the keys to open the desks on the cupboards, all of them full of papers. I was sure that some of these papers were so important, I had to look at all of them. This job is going to take forever, I thought. It was too late to start work that afternoon. I looked at my watch. Keckwick was not coming back for another hour. I I decided to walk back along the causeway. I was able to see the path from the window. It went straight ahead. It was not possible for me to lose my way. I was sure to meet Keckwick on the way. Aha! Yes, I went back into every room. I pulled down the blinds, turned off all the lights, locked the front door behind me, and then started to walk along the causeway. What do we think of the story so far? I should like to know what's going to happen next, though I do believe it's time for me to take a little bit of a walk round. Make sure that no one's trying to interfere with any of the tomes that I organized in the shelves earlier today. So, I understand that Brooklyn and Cthulhu are always lurking round. Captain, thinks I need some supervision somehow. I'm 178 years old. Not a pup anymore. I love it. Well, good. I'm glad I love it too. Hello, Metamars Peace. You're enjoying it. Classic, so spooky. You're loving it. Ah, Emily the artiste. Thank you so very much for coming in, darling. I do hope that you're faring better. I do hope that you've supped. I do hope that everyone has small snacks, libations nearby, perhaps some more bloodthirsty. Make sure to check out everything that we have going on over at sirenofsound.com. I've been instructed to say that, so now I'm remembering to do so. So, darlings, I shall take a short little walk round, make sure that nothing's going on in the library that's untoward. And then I shall return to the desk to finish the rest of the story. Sound like a plan? Took an afternoon nap. The sun was too much. I do not blame you. The sun's always too much here. That's why I spent all the time that I do underground, in the damp and the cold and the dark. Darlings, what a lovely, lovely evening this is so far. I do appreciate you so very much. Make sure to share the live whilst I'm doing my little walkabout, and I'll return forthwith if you will as well. Yes? All right. Let's turn up the music, shall we? A little bit of ambiance. By the way, all of the merchandise that you see in our Be Right Back screen is all available as well at sirenofsound.com. Right then. Welcome back, darlings. Yes, make sure to check everything out. Thank you so very much to my moderator team. Oh, goodness. I don't know how the grotto would run without any of you. And as predicted, of course, not only were the captain's little minions outside the door watching after me, I also had to quiet the hounds of hell outside. My goodness. Yes, the grotto's quite busy this time of year. They are an amazing team, Crazy Bish says. Yes, indeed they are, darling. No doubt about that. Everyone put some red hearts in the chat for our wonderful, wonderful team. I certainly do love them all. So very much, even more so than Siren, I believe. Because what on earth would I do without them? Every single one of them does everything from making sure that all of you are happy whilst I'm reading, all the way up through running the book club on Patreon. Which, as I understand, is growing. Lore drops. Exclusive reading lists coming Patreon book club, so I hear. And I have finally convinced Siren to do something glorious. We'll be dropping an exclusive playlist of reading music specifically designed, curated, and composed by Siren to read alongside Bloodline, almost like a film soundtrack. How exciting. So, if you're not on Patreon yet, make sure to join in. You rejoined a little bit ago. Everyone, you joined? Oh my goodness, well thank you so very much. Let's take a look. I must see. And you all get the benefit of a little roll forward in the meantime. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, how delightful! Thank you so very much. Oh, goodness. Christabel, thank you so very much for joining the Patreon. Everyone, throw some hearts in the chat. Welcome back, darling. Oh, it's so lovely to see you there. Thank you so very much. That's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, glorious. Right then. Ooh, I do love... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Amber made a bloodline. Oh, that's clever. That's clever, darling. Oh, goodness, let's make that a little bit of a library tradition, yes? Amber made a bloodline in the chat with the blood emojis. How clever. Oh, the cleverness of you. How delightful. Oh, I love to see it. I love to see it. Oh, darling, I do love you dearly. Thank you so very much for joining. Right then. All right then, beauties. Let's go in. Shall we continue the story? At last I left you. We had just finished chapter 4 of a perhaps a little bit of a simplified adaptation of The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, 1983. So clever. Well, and look at the cleverness of you. Oh, dear. Well, let's continue on, shall we? Chapter 5. The Cry of a Child. Outside the house, everything was quiet. I looked back once, but I did not see the woman in black. The causeway was dry, but the tide was coming in. The water on either side of the causeway was higher now. As I walked on, I felt very alone. The path over the causeway seemed longer too. I walked faster. The sky and the water was beautiful in the grey light. Then I saw the sea mist. The sea mist was moving too quickly over the marshes. In a few moments, the sea mist covered everything. It was a damp, white mist, very different from the yellow fog in London. The mist moved about in front of my eyes. Soon my hair and my clothes were wet. Now I saw only a short way in front of me. I looked back. I wasn't able to see Eel Marsh House. I'd completely disappeared in the mist. I walked on very slowly, and then I stopped. If I went on, I might walk off the causeway into the deep mud. I decided to go back. But going back was difficult too. The mist was moving all round me. Where was the house? Was I going the right way? I felt so afraid. Then I heard the pony and trap. Thank God. Keckwick was coming back for me. Sabbath, thank you so very much for gifting, darling. I do appreciate you so. I stopped and waited. But now the sounds of the pony and trap going away from me. Now the sound was coming from somewhere on the marshes. What was wrong? Had Keckwick gone off the path? I stood very still. For a moment there was complete silence. Suddenly, the pony shrieked with fear. Then I heard a sound I shall never forget. The terrible cry of a child in fear of death. Now, the trap was sinking. There was a strange sucking sound. The trap was going down under the mud, and still the child cried out. There was nothing I could do. I shouted. No one answered. How could I find the trap in that terrible mist? It was impossible. I had to get back into the house. If I turned on all the lights, somebody might see them and someone might help. It was dark now. The mist was thicker too. I heard the seawater moving nearer. At last, I was standing on hard ground in front of the house. Oh! I found the front door and opened it. Behind me, the marshes were silent. I sat down on the nearest chair, began to shake. Oh, the horror! That terrible, terrible cry. The poor child dying in the marshes. I began crying. I wasn't able to stop. I walked into every room, turned on the light. I found some brandy in a cupboard. I drank some, and my fear turned to anger. Why? Why had Mr. Bentley sent me here? Why did I leave London? I walked in, out of the rooms. I wanted only one thing. I wanted to get away from this terrible place. I walked slowly along the passage on the second floor. The door at the end was locked. I kicked the door angrily, but it didn't open. I turned away and walked back. As I went, I looked through every window. The white sea mist was all around the house. I couldn't see anything. I drank some more brandy. The brandy helped me to forget that terrible sound, the cry of the child. At last, I fell asleep. A bell was ringing. It rang again and again and again and again. I opened my eyes very slowly. I looked through the window. The moon shone white in the black sky. How long had I been asleep? I didn't know. The bell rang again. say hello, dear. How are you? Lovely to see you tonight. Oh, I'm doing so very well, dear. Thank you, thank you. Oh, my goodness. It is so delightful to see every single one of you, all of my crazy little sugar cubes. Oh, mwah. We're in the middle of reading a story, of course. It's what we do on Thursday evenings here in the Grotto Library. We're reading The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. Then I remembered, with horror, the sounds that I'd heard before. The screams of the child, the shrieks of the pony, the noise of the trap as it sank down into the mud. Had I really heard them? Had I dreamt them? I didn't know. The bell rang again. Someone was at the door. Who was there? All the lights in the house were on. Someone must have seen them to come and help me. Yes. I got up slowly, walked to the door. There was only one man there. It was Keckwick. Behind him stood the pony and trap. They were real. They weren't harmed. I had to wait till the mist cleared, said Keckwick. When the mist cleared, the tide was in, and I had to wait until the tide went out, and then the water left the causeway, and I looked at my watch. It was 2:00 in the morning. It was very good of you to come here for me at this time of night, I said. I wouldn't have left you to stay here all night, Keckwick said. No, I wouldn't have left you here all night. Not here. How did you get out of the mud? I began to ask, but then I knew. It had not been Keckwick. It had been someone else. But who? Who had been driving on the marshes in the dark November evening? Keckwick looked at me strangely. You'd better get in the trap, he said. I'll drive you back. Keckwick knew that something strange had happened to me, but he wasn't going to ask about it. And he didn't want to hear about it. I got into the trap and we drove off. I sat in the trap, lost in a dream of horror and fear. I now knew the truth, but I did not want to believe it. The woman in black was a ghost. The child was a ghost, too. I had seen the woman. I had heard the child. They had died long ago. But they didn't rest in peace. The innkeeper of the Gifford Arms had not gone to bed. He was waiting up for me. He let me in without a word. It was after 3:00 in the morning when I finally got to bed. I slept. But in my dreams, I heard the cry of that child again. I stood once more in the white sea mist, and always near me was the woman in black. Chapter 6. Mr. Jerome is afraid. The next morning I woke up late. The sun was shining, and the little town looked bright, friendly. I went downstairs to the dining room. Mr. Jerome was already there, having breakfast. He looked up as I walked in. "Morning, Mr. Kipps," he said politely. "Morning, Mr. Jerome," I replied. "Did you go to Ilmarsh House yesterday?" Mr. Jerome asked quietly. "Yes, I went there," I answered. "I saw the woman again, the woman in black." Mr. Jerome's face went very white. He stood up quickly. Please, he said, don't talk about her. Don't talk about her in this place. I saw her at the funeral, I said. And then I saw her again in the graveyard. Mr. Jerome turned away. He was shaking. I didn't understand why he was so afraid. Who is the woman in black? I said. Mr. Jerome turned to me. His eyes were full of fear. You must go back to London, he said. Leave this place. Leave Eel Marsh House. I looked at him carefully. He was clearly terrified, but I needed answers. I can't leave, I said. I must go through Mrs. Drablow's papers. Then let me send someone with you, Mr. Jerome said. You mustn't go alone. Who will come with me? I asked. Mr. Jerome gave a sad smile. No one will go, he whispered. No one will go to Eel Marsh House. I decided to walk round town. I had to clear my head. The events of the last 24 hours were still haunting me. The streets were full of people going about their business. It seemed impossible that only a few miles away there was a place of such terror. As I walked, I tried to make sense of everything. Who was the woman in black? What did she want? Why did her presence terrify the townspeople so damn much? The questions spun in my mind. I knew I had to go back. I had to return to Eel Marsh House to finish what I had started. Chapter 7. In the Nursery. The next day I took food and supplies with me. I was determined to stay at Eel Marsh House until my work was done. Keckwick drove me again across the causeway. This time the weather was clear and cold. We reached the house. I thanked Keckwick, told him to come for me the next morning. He nodded, said nothing. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. The house was silent. I knew I would be alone until the tide went out the following day. I set to work immediately. There were hundreds of papers to sort through. Old letters, contracts, legal documents. It was tedious, but I had a job to do. As the day wore on, I began to feel uneasy. The silence of the house pressed in upon me. Every creak of the old wood seemed magnified. In the late afternoon, I decided to explore more of the house. I climbed the stairs, found myself in front of the locked door I'd seen earlier. This time, the key fit perfectly. The door swung open with a groan. It was a nursery. The room was filled with children's toys and furniture. A rocking chair stood at the center, the bed neatly made. The room had an air of sadness about it. It felt as though it had been untouched for many years. Then I saw it, a tiny footprint in the dust. A child's footprint. I felt a chill run down my spine. What was a child's footprint doing in an abandoned house? Suddenly, I heard it, the soft creak of the rocking chair, which began to move slowly. I stood frozen, watching the chair rock back and forth. There was no wind, no one else in the room, yet the chair moved as if an invisible hand pushed it. I backed away, slowly, my heart pounding. I couldn't explain it. Then I heard a sound that filled me with dread. A faint cry of that child. I stumbled back, out of the nursery, closing the door behind me. I could still hear that faint, haunting cry of that child. I leant against the wall, my breath shallow, trying to calm my racing heart. The house was filled with an eerie silence, but I knew I wasn't alone. Something lingered here, something that would not rest, that could not rest. I made my way downstairs, every step echoing in that empty house. The sense of unease stayed with me, clinging like a second skin. I forced myself to continue with my work, sorting through papers and documents. But my thoughts kept drifting back to the nursery, to the rocking chair, to the sound of the child's cry. Jaden LaRoche, hello, dear! Welcome, welcome, welcome. And how are you tonight, dear? Lovely to see you, lovely to make your acquaintance once more tonight, darling. Siren sends her regards. How are we all finding the story so far? Pardon me whilst I choke. Whew, right then, pardon. Loving it? Susie, wonderful. Glad to hear it. Thank you all so very much for gifting. I see all of those gifts coming through. I do appreciate you, especially since yesterday was Books and Roses Day, so I heard. We should have moved the street. Right then, shall we continue on? Chapter 8, The Woman's Story. I returned to the nursery the next morning. This time, the rocking chair was still. The room was silent as the grave. I searched through the drawers and the cupboards. At the back of an old desk, I found a bundle of letters. They were tied with a faded ribbon addressed to a Mrs. Alice Drablow. The letters told a story of love and loss. Mrs. Drablow had a sister named Jeanette. Jeanette had given birth to a child out of wedlock. The child was taken from her and given to Mrs. Drablow to raise. Jeanette was heartbroken. She begged to see her son, but the Drablows refused. They kept the boy as their own. Goodness, I can certainly relate to this one. One day, Jeanette watched, helpless, as her son and a servant drove across the causeway. The tide was coming in fast. The trap sank into the mud. The boy and the servant both drowned. From that day, Jeanette was lost. She became a shadow of herself, haunted by grief, by anger. She was the woman in black. Her ghost remained at Eel Marsh, forever mourning the loss of her child. Chapter 9. The Final Encounter. I closed the letters, my hands shaking. The story explained everything. The woman in black, the cries of the child, the fear that gripped the townspeople. As I stood there, the temperature dropped. The air round me grew cold. And then I saw her. She stood at the doorway, the black dress flowing like shadows, her pale, thin face filled with hatred, her eyes locked into mine, filled with sorrow and rage. I could feel her anger pressing down on me. I backed away, but there was nowhere to go. The woman in black moved closer. Her mouth twisted into a cruel smile. Then, without a sound, she disappeared. I stood alone in the nursery, shaking with fear. Chapter 10, A Life Changed Forever. I finished my work as quickly as I could. Keckwick came to fetch me, and I left Eelmarsh House for the last time. But the memories never left me. I returned to London, married Stella, tried to forget, but the woman in black always haunted me. Her presence lingered in my mind, and soon she found a way to destroy me. One day, Stella and I were at a fair. Our little boy, just 3 years old, sat in a pony cart, laughing with joy. Suddenly I saw her, the woman in black. She stood across the field watching, her eyes locked onto mine, and I knew what was coming. The pony bolted, the cart overturned, our boy was thrown to the ground, his tiny body lifeless. Stella never recovered. She faded, just like Jeanette had. She died within the year, leaving me alone with my grief. Epilogue. I live now with the memories. The woman in black took everything from me. She's a ghost, but her vengeance is very real. I've written this story in the hope of finding peace. But peace does not come easily. The woman in black still haunts my dreams, and I know she will never rest. The story ends, but the terror remains. Eelmarsh House stands empty and silent, a place haunted by sorrow and loss. The woman in black waits, watching, waiting for her next victim. And thus, the spectral shadows of Eelmarsh House recede, leaving us with more questions than answers, as all good ghost stories should. If Susan Hill has taught us anything, it's that fear is not always loud, sometimes lurking in the silence, waiting to catch us unawares. If you've enjoyed wandering through these eerie tales with me tonight, please be sure to leave likes, share it with other brave souls like yourself, anyone you think would like to join the Nightfall Society, yes? And whatever platform you're on tonight, make sure you hit that little subscribe button, that little like button, that little join button, the follow button, because we do this every single Thursday evening. Unless there's some kind of event going on, something going on. I do have a mailing list, and so I shall be sure to add you to it if you send me your email address in the DMs or perhaps through a Patreon message. Now, let us end tonight's tale with a poem. You know what movie you're watching tonight, yes. I also know which film I shall be viewing tonight, as I close up the library for the evening. And so, let us end tonight's stream with a dramatic reading of course, The Woman in Black. Compiled from Susan Black, Justin Yvette, and one Ms. Tweedy. During afternoon tea, there's a shift in the air, a bone-trembling chill that tells you she is there. There are those who believe that the whole town is cursed, but the house on the marsh is by far the worst. What she wants is unknown, but she always comes back, the spectre of darkness, the woman in black. Have you seen her, the woman in black? She once lost her boy, and now she's come back. Our parents all worry. They make such a fuss. For if she can't find him, she'll take one of us. What she wants is now known. There's nothing to do. She won't forgive us. She won't forgive you. The town's indeed cursed. That's the truth of the thing. Your children all die whenever she's seen. And so, with that, oh my goodness, all you lovely, lovely, lovely little greasy little possums. My glorious little dust bunnies of doom. I do appreciate you so. Thank you so very much for joining the live stream tonight, wherever you've been, whether on TikTok, Twitch, or, of course, our main hub, YouTube. And be sure to tune in every single Thursday evening for more tales of terror, some in which you participate by voting on every twist and turn of the chat, or with all of these little dramatic readings of the classics that I do love so very much. You appreciated such good fun. Oh, Susie, it was so much fun to read for you tonight. Thank you so very much for participating in the stream tonight. Thank you so very much to all of you for voting. Wonderful Crazy Bitch says over on Twitch. Thank you so much, dear. And, of course, some emojis in the chat. How about a bloodline again? For Crazy Bitch, who has joined the Siren Grotto Patreon and become a bona fide member of the Merfolk. Thank you so very much. Well, darlings, next week's tale remains to be seen. I shall not reveal any secrets. No, no, dears, I shall not, my dear hearts. However, I will tell you that this stream shall be the last one before the first book signing that Siren is doing the very next day, the very next afternoon. Mama tried candles. Hello, dear. Darlings, oh, look at those bloodlines. I love it. I love it. And, of course, if you are interested in picking up a copy of Bloodline, my biography, written by the Siren of Sound herself. Copies are available on Amazon, exclusively on Amazon, though signed author copies are available through the website sirenofsound.com and soon to also be at nightshade.co. Nightshade and Company, of course, our wonderful house of fashion, accessories, jewelry, and soon scent atelier. Right then. Until next time, then, until next week. Once again, if you do love what you're watching, if you do love what you're hearing, I orchestrate these every single week. So don't forget to ring my bell. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure to stay alert so you don't miss any of our challenging, glorious encounters. So until then, I remain, your vendor of the vintage and villainous, the vixen of the vellum, the temptress of the typewriter. Candler to the damned, your moonlight mistress, and the harbinger of hauntings. I remain, humbly, thine, the Lady Scarlett Nightshade. To efficiency, enterprise, and ingenuity, and say it with me, as always. Pleasant nightmares.